gotta do is get our hands.
What's up, people? How we doing? So, I want to talk to you about the new Karate Kid film. Now, I did see the news, and I've been so busy with season 5 stuff that I didn't even get to cover this. But I wanted to just quickly talk about this, and I know a lot of people are very mixed on the film already because it does sound a bit like the 2010 Karate Kid movie, and I think everyone wants to make sure we don't have that repeated. Because even though that was a decent movie, it wasn't Karate Kid. Like the name, it's just not. So, guys, let's talk about this. Murray's Multiverse were the guys that dropped this exclusive news, and we're apparently getting a new film, and Sony are moving ahead with it. We don't know when exactly production is going to happen, but it does say in the article that it's a different twist on the Karate Kid. So instead of the sensei, like Miyagi or Johnny or Daniel being the guys that are basically teaching the young character is teaching. So, like, basically, the new film is going to have the student teach the sensei. That's just think about it. So it's like if Daniel taught Mr. Miyagi karate. It just sounds weird, doesn't it? And also, the problem with this film already, it's not even the plot doesn't sound bad. It's just the fact that he's literally specializing in kung fu. This kid is specializing in kung fu, and they're calling it Karate Kid. It's the same thing. They're saying that Sony are looking for a cast teen lead for a new Karate Kid film, as I said, a 17-year-old male Chinese actor who speaks both Mandarin and English. The character is referred to as Lee and is said to be small for his age, but tough, smart, and scrappy. And that sounds quite interesting with the profile. Um, he's supposed to be a skilled fighter, a student in Beijing, and then he basically has a big life change because his mother moves to Brooklyn and New York, and I'm assuming it's something to do with the job. He basically is it's the opposite now. Instead of Jaden Smith's character going to it's so weird. Instead of him going to China from the States, this character's coming from China to the States. Like it's sort of like they're trying to reverse what they did with the Jaden Smith Karate Kid film, but I'm not sure. Apparently there's a lot of context to the character. They said he's struggling with a past tragedy, which is the problem between him and his mum. His mum's sort of been able to deal with it better than him, and I think it's something to do with like maybe his father died, perhaps, and the mum just has been able to deal with it better, but he hasn't. He meets a girl called Mia in high school, and she has a father called Victor at a local pizza restaurant they meet. Um, Basically, he soon finds himself training the father of that girl, Mia, in the art of kung fu. I'm gonna zoom in so you guys can see this nice and clearly. In the art of kung fu, what is going on here, bro? Kung in the art of kung fu. This isn't Karate Kid. What are they doing? I don't see the point in that though. You've got Cobra Kai. I mean, I haven't even mentioned the creators and how they're gonna feel about this. Because I assume it's not going to be attached to it. They would never want a film just to get made now, unless these are fake details covering up the actual plot and what's going on, because they wouldn't want things about a new film getting leaked. Because I'm sure they will do a film after the series has ended, and the creators have made it very clear. The creators of Cobra Kai have said they love the formula of Breaking Bad, Better Call Saul, El Camino. They want to do something similar, so they have a spin-off show. They have like a film, and it would make a lot of sense. Um, It's actually really strange. Despite his mother's stance against violence and fighting, and ultimately back in the ring himself, they don't have a director apparently, and someone called Rob Lieber, who did Peter Rabbit, is um, apparently writing this film, and there's no start date for production. People are saying that it definitely doesn't sound like it's a good movie already. I'm kind of 50-50. It just doesn't sound great right now. The deal set to, yeah, because remember, you guys remember John, Josh, and Hayden signed a new deal back in December that renewed their contract with Sony Pictures TV, and that allowed the expansion of the Cobra Kai and Karate Kid universe. How the hell are Sony? How the hell have Sony been able to do this without these guys? Like, if they're not, if this isn't canon to Cobra Kai, this is stupid. Like, it's like the whole Morbius thing again. This new film looks to be its own entity separate from the deal as it is a feature film. What's the point? Why are you trying to use the Karate Kid name for another film that's not going to be good? So that's the end of the article. Uh, I mean, Sony, this already. I like to be optimistic, but it doesn't sound good. It does not sound good. I don't like to be this kind of person where I just bashing on something, but it does not sound good when I read it before, and I don't know why Sony are in such a rush to make a film. I don't know when they're going into production, but if they go into production way before even Cobra Kai finishes, they're taking a big L there. I mean, it's disrespectful to the creators, it's disrespectful to the Karate Kid fans, even the Cobra Kai fans like ourselves. It's You're literally just using the name again to do something that's not even related. It's stupid. I mean, this might not actually be. This could be. This info might actually be not that reliable, but it does seem pretty clear that they might be doing something with it. But hey, if Deadline are posting about it and like they're really more legitimate sources, then it will be pretty crazy. Bro, you with that hair look like shit. Thanks, bro. Once Cobra Kai expands worldwide, I'd rather a Karate Kid film about some random kid in a different country than to fight against Cobras. Cobra edits, that would be a way better plot. Because if they finish the show with like, I mean, I don't think they would want Cobra Kai winning it all, but what if they if the whole plot was that they'd end up winning, and then the film basically goes about a new character trying to fight cobras in another country. Well, this actually could, I mean, even if this isn't set after, this could be an extension with Cobra Kai series. When Terry Silver expands all over the world, let's say, like you just said, your plot could be like a film set like it's part of the story, but it's like its own thing at the same time. But it could be canon, and it's just the impact of the Cobras winning with Terry Silver. They could refer to Terry Silver, they could refer to the guys in the valley, but I just don't get. I don't get why they're doing this, and it's like they after next Karate Kid, they tried to reboot it. It didn't work. Uh, it was again decent film, but it's kung fu, not karate. Stop using kung fu in a karate film. Like, I love kung fu, but I don't. You don't see them doing this in like with a lot of the martial arts films you've seen in Hollywood or even like films that Bruce Lee was in. He didn't have like a he didn't put a style as the title and then put like a different style in the film. It's like, what are you doing? I love this plot Cobra edits. That's actually a very good one. Honestly, like it doesn't. That's what I'm saying. Trophy Productions. It just sounds terrible. I don't know why they're going ahead with this. I hope they really understand that fans do not want this. They want the stuff that the big three are creating. If the big three were producing this, they were writing it, then I would be really excited. But they're not, from what we've heard. So right now, I'm very like cautious about this. Um, I love the Cry Kid, but let's not do this. Let's not make another film, especially when Cobra Kai series is not finished. Let the creators do that. You know, they will actually do the justice for another film. I mean, they might do a Cobra Kai movie, which would make sense, and it'll be like a Netflix movie. But they could do that with this. It's crazy. It's crazy, but well, Sony own the name. They own the Karate Kid brand, basically, and obviously Netflix um have the distribution rights because they're on like it's on their streaming platform. But this doesn't sound like Netflix are even involved. Because if Netflix were involved in this film, then you know that it would probably be connected to Cobra Kai series, but it doesn't sound like it. The next Cry Kid movie should be with an old Miguel Sete, or like a time jump, and we get that. I would love that, Frank. That would be pretty badass. I think we all are predicting that, in the future they'll do another series with the cast where Miguel and Robbie and everyone else is older. It'd be cool to see those guys. They've had longer in their career, and they come back and a little bit older than they were. Like they'll be in their 30s if they do it after like 10 years, or maybe pushing their 40s, depending when they do it. But yeah, it's gonna be really cool how they go about it, and I hope they do it in like a proper way. I just don't know why Sony are doing this, especially without the creators involved. I mean, you're making a big mistake. They should finish it with the show and and not another movie. See, the thing is, I think the show will wrap up the main story, then you got the spin-off. But they could do a film in between that as well. So, but this doesn't look like it's even part of it, which is an issue. I do not, because it will never be as good as Crikey 1 or 2. I mean, none of these new Crikey films will probably be ever good as the original films, unless you have Ralph, Billy, the original cast involved, and the guys on Cobra Kai. That would be potentially topping the original films, but even then, like, we might not see that if they do this. I mean, we don't even know if this is connected to Cobra Kai series right now. We don't know if this is connected to even the Jaden Smith film. It looks like it might just be another reboot of that, which is already putting it in a deficit. If this, yeah, it is a waste if it isn't, but I guess we don't know too much. I don't even know. Do you think this reboot will be a movie in the Miyagi-Verse that the Miyagi-Verse characters can watch on their TVs, just like the Karate 2010? See, this isn't Lightyear, where they're trying to do. It wouldn't make sense for them to do that. Like, if the Lightyear film, um, that was set in, that was the human, that was literally what the toy was based off, and that film, the Lightyear movie is basically what they see in the Toy Story universe. So, like, it just doesn't make sense to do that within the Miyagi-Verse. Like, doesn't make sense. But yeah, I think we'll definitely see. But yeah, it is crazy. Honestly crazy. If it be more about kung fu, then it has no reason to be called the Karate Kids, and Star's already claimed that twice. Okay, I don't know what the hell just happened there. Sometimes my stuff randomly like does that. It's really stupid. Yeah, he does. I mean, a while ago I was saying it's like he's like the Green Ranger. Want Cobra Kai to have his own big universe, like how these other movies have an Endgame type of movie. See, the thing is, the Karate Kid doesn't have that many characters and that much material to go by, because they would have to create a lot. And I don't. I would love to see it expand like that, but I just don't think it would make sense when there's not that much you can go off. Plus, the MCU, like, look how many comics you can go off, and they're still making new comics. With the Karate Kid, there's no material they can go off apart from. I mean, with the series, there's not much you can go off apart from the characters they made in the show. But how many shows are you gonna do? Like, I want to see a show on Chosen. I want to see a show on the Binary Brothers. I want to see one on Miguel and maybe Sam, or Miguel, Robbie, Sam, and Toria in one series together. Uh, yeah, Johnny and Daniel, I assume they would come back as cameos, but their main stories would have been wrapped in the series, Cobra Kai, and yeah, we'll see other characters as well. But I think it just doesn't make sense for them to do that with the Karate Kid universe, because it's not as big as like Marvel or DC. Let's say again, I would love that, but I think it's just too much. It might get very silly as well with how they go about things. Although I would love them to, I want them to expand. I want them to do loads of spin offs. I want this to continue for as long as possible. As long as it's not washed out and ruined like how they did The Walking Dead, for example. Because AMC are milking that. Like, you don't need that many spin-offs. You don't need a prequel like in the way they are doing it. I mean, you do need a prequel sometimes, but they're just milking the show now like too much. Cobra Kai won't have that issue because they won't do that. But they just need to do the spin-offs that we want to see, and like just we need to see Miyagi backstory. I honestly think that might be one of the backstories that we'll get, and there's a spin-off. Um, like you could see stuff with Chosen as well within that. We could see just a lot more about the methods, like seeing Miyagi learn karate. That would be really cool. And I think seeing like a young Miyagi and them just doing that, that'd be so badass. I mean, I'm looking forward to seeing when they announce that spin-off, what it will be. And they're definitely wanting to, I think they want to do 2 shows. That's just my guess, because you want to do one set in present day, but then you want to do a prequel. I think that would be good enough. And then further down the line, you get the film. So, I mean, Kreese and Silver, I would love to see a spin-off about when they were, or maybe when Kreese was in his early days of Cobra Kai. Like, what students did he have before Johnny? Or maybe when Kreese was younger, to bring back Barrett and show us the relationship he had with the young Johnny and how he was like the way he was. Would be quite interesting. I actually feel you on that, Rodney. That would be quite cool. Um, it does sound very Ip Man-esque. So yeah, Ip Man was so good. Like the Bruce Lee film was amazing, but Ip Man was so good as well. So like they've got that potential with the spin-offs for Cobra Kai. So yeah, wouldn't mind seeing 70s Cobra Kai. I would love to see even what they did before the first film, like how things were with Kreese, uh, Johnny. I would love to see like Johnny and his friends, younger versions, and how they were like coming into Cobra Kai and stuff. That'd be really cool. Okay, here's a Cobra Kai question, but like, yeah, I I actually think Bobby might get involved at some point, especially how many senseis that Sensei Kim and Terry Silver have in Cobra Kai. Like, look how many senseis they got. It's probably more than that as well because they have 15 dojos from that image in the trailer that we've seen. So there's a lot, and I think Bobby needs to come and help them because he clearly knows his stuff still. Maybe we see Jimmy come back as well, and then you might even have. I mean, rest in peace, Rob Garrison who played Tommy. Could have Dutch come back, but I don't think the actor wants to come back. That would be it'd be pretty crazy if you got a flashback to, what happened with his dad and stuff. That would be pretty crazy. But yeah, guys, please comment your thoughts down below on what you think of this new Karate Kid film allegedly moving ahead. Smash the like button. Don't forget to subscribe if you're new. Follow me on Instagram at Cobra Kai Nation YT so you don't forget any content I do. And I've been posting a lot on there, so go check it out. And I've got a bunch of season 5 videos coming, so don't worry. Tomorrow I'll be dropping some, and you guys will see a lot of content. So stay tuned, stay happy, and have a great weekend. Take care. I love that.